So back in January, I filmed my makeup wish list video, which was an update because I've done previous ones. If you haven't watched it, don't go back and watch it. My hair, yeah, no, don't watch it. And also, don't try to cut your hair with just like office scissors. Even if you're bored and in the middle of quarantine and slowly losing it, it's not a good idea. Yeah. Anyways, I thought it would be good to update you guys what is on my wish list because I have bought and gotten some of the things that were on there previously, and I've added some new things and some things I've just changed a bit. And I also would like to update you guys on sort of a new project goal thing that I'm adding on. I'll talk about that at the end, but let's just get straight into what is on my makeup wish list. I have been thinking about what I want for lip products, and there's a lot of things I might want to repurchase in the future. Like I might want to repurchase the Essence Clear Lip Gloss. Like those things I don't need to put on my wish list because I probably just repurchase them when I want to. But there are some lip products that I think would help expand the shade range that I have, specifically in my lipstick category. Some things that I don't have are neutral brown lipsticks, and there are two NYX lipsticks from their matte line. I think they've had these lipsticks for a long time, but the shades Sable and Mason look really nice. I noticed in these pictures they look way lighter than what I've noticed in swatches. I don't know why the Ulta pictures just look very washed out and edited. They both have a bit more warmth and depth to them, but I think especially Mason, out of all the lipsticks, I would want Mason the most because it's like this beautiful deep just brown that I think would look really pretty, especially in the fall. Even if Sable is lighter than I prefer, I think it would look really pretty blended with Mason, like paired together, especially because I do kind of like putting the depth of the color in the center of my lips and then fading it out. So I'm eyeing those. They are intriguing me because those lipstick colors, it's hard to find just like a true brown. Another lipstick, this one I'm not as confident that I definitely want, but I have a e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipstick in the shade Sugar Plum, a really pretty purple, so I know I like the formula well enough. The shade Cider, I'm intrigued by. I put this on here a couple months ago, or maybe not even that long, but the shade Cider is this beautiful, warm, kind of orangey shade, and a part of me is like, ooh, yes, that's a nice fall color, but then there's another part of me that's like, Anna, you don't even like panning orange eyeshadow. What makes you think you would wear a relatively orange lipstick when you could just wear a brown that's neutral and could probably work with orange looks anyways? Those are the three lipsticks on my wish list. Now the last two lip products are tinted lip balms that have previously been on here, but they were different shades. I've switched over to what shades I want. The shade Giddy from the e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shine line reminds me a lot of a tinted lip balm from Burt's Bees and Hibiscus that I used to have, and I really liked that shade, and this looks like a beautiful summery lip product. In the shade Joyful, looks like a really nice pink, like a warm pink that would look really good with a lot of looks, especially a springy look. Those aren't that interesting, but let's just get into all of the eyeshadows. I guess I should tell you the start of this challenge or panning project goal or whatever I'm doing. So for a moment there I was like, I'm just gonna ask for eyeshadows for Christmas. But then last night I was, swatching a bunch of colors, planning Frankens in my head, as you do. I probably do it far too often. But I realized, wow, I really enjoy Frankening. This is so fun. And then I'm like, you really want to finish all these things and Franken them, but then you want more eyeshadows, so then you feel guilty for working on only Frankens and then you neglect the eyeshadows you have. And I was like, Anna, you don't need to get new eyeshadows immediately. As much as there are so many that call to me, I have decided I want to do a 1 in, 1 out rule starting today. So any eyeshadows I previously finished in the year, they aren't counting towards this goal. But if I want to buy a palette with 16 eyeshadows, I need to use 16 of those up. And specifically, I want to talk about the 2 palettes that basically made me want to... For a second, I wanted to do this for singles, but then all of a sudden, I saw 2 palettes from BH Cosmetics. They're 16 pan palettes with those square pans. Every time, I don't know what it is about them. The color stories just call to me. There are 2 palettes from them that I'm eyeing, and I think I want to try to finish up 32 eyeshadows before I ask them for a gift or whatever. So the first one is their Passion in Paris, I think. It has stunning, some neutrals, but mostly purples, reds, and blues. There are some of the shades in here that really remind me of singles that I've been eyeing, so I would want to buy this first so then I could choose what singles I want, but it really does look like a collection of singles that I would want to buy. And those reds at the bottom, yes! And those vibrant, like, blurples in the center. I'll put up swatches, but these shades are just so unique that I don't have, at least most of them. There are a bit of overlap, but not a ton. I just feel like I would get a lot of use and a lot of joy out of this palette. The second BH Cosmetics palette, it's been out for a while, and I've actually eyed it in the past. It was on my wish list for like a short amount of time. I don't know if I've talked about it. Looking at it again, I kind of was drawn to it again, so I figure I've been drawn to it in the past. Maybe it's a sign that I would actually like it in real life, and that is the Summer in Saint Tropez, I think is what it's called. It has really pretty, vibrant pinks, purples, kind of a red color, and yellows and blues. It has all these stunning colors, and again, not a ton of overlap. As you can see in the swatches, a lot of them are warmer than I have because I don't have a ton of bright warm shades. Just a really pretty palette that I don't really have many of the colors from, and I think I would really enjoy using it. But there are also singles I'm eyeing, and if there are overlap, I would want to make sure I want the palettes first, because the palettes I've only added in like the past week or so, so those are very new. I might eventually decide that I don't want them, and then I'll just probably look towards the singles and work towards using however many I need to make like a Sydney Grace order or whatever. The first single that isn't from Sydney Grace or Clarity Cosmetics is from Ulta Beauty actually, and that is because there is a very specific shade of green that I fell in love with from a Franken I made, and it was just this beautiful pale neutral green. It wasn't, a lot of the greens I have are really golden and warm, or there are also some that are very blue toned and cool, but it's very difficult for me to find a true neutral, and this shade reminds me so much of that Franken. You might remember it if you followed along with my eyeshadow project pan a year back. But this shade in Under the Sea, they describe it as a medium sage green shimmer, and it's the sage green that I miss. The first shade from Sydney Grace is Velvet. There is an overlapping shade in one of those BH Cosmetics palettes, so if I were to get the Paris palette, then I wouldn't be searching out for this shade in particular. Then there is the shade Hidden Treasure, a really pretty pale yellow shimmer. And Mellow Yellow, although there are yellows in the Saint Tropez palette, they are very vibrant, and in one of them it's warm, but this one seems like a very soft, calming yellow, so I don't think they would be overlapping. I would still want this one. The shade Sea Breeze, I really just want more pastel matte greens. Then there's the shade Escape, and I can't tell if it's similar to ones I have or not. I think I'm just really attracted to a certain shade of shimmery green, and I probably don't need that one. We'll think about that. I'm not buying these tomorrow, so. Island Paradise is this really, really deep foresty green matte, and I definitely don't have something like that. Evergreen is a slightly lighter forest green matte, and I just want more greens. Levy is, I don't think I have this particular shade of green. Again, it's in neutral, but this one is brighter and a bit deeper than that sage one. Seafoam definitely don't have this beautiful pale pastel. I think pastels especially are very helpful in blending out green looks on my pale skin, or just for really soft looks on me. Poolside, it kind of reminds me of the shade that's on my eyes currently. Now I'm looking in the mirror, I'm trying to figure out the difference. This one looks a bit more muted and maybe a tiny bit more green, but it definitely gives off different vibes than the one I'm wearing. Or am I going crazy? Scuba Diver is definitely more blue, and I don't have this very unique shade of matte blue. Hydra, no, I don't have a shade like Hydra. That is a stunning, stunning shade. How often would I use it? I don't know, but it calls to me. Dive, in this picture, it looks very just kind of like drab, but in the swatches, it's got this warm blue with a gold shift that is very unique, and I definitely don't have this beautiful duochrome. Perfect Storm, I may have matte blues that are pastel, but this one, again, like that mellow yellow shade, it is this muted, softer color. Nightfall, do I actually want Nightfall? I'll think about it. I'll think about it. The shade Fierce is another shade that I think there's a dupe in that Paris palette, but a part of me wants both of them because they're so pretty. I can't tell if Fierce is more blue or not to the other one, or if they're actually just the same color. Happy Accident. Here we get to the neutral shades from Sydney Grace, because I actually want more neutrals that are mostly cool tone. And this one, I mean, I would say it's a purple kind of taupe. There's the shade Speedway, which is a beautiful cool tone matte shade. But there's also Concrete Road, which I think is more gray. But then there's also Cool Brown, which I think is less gray, but I feel like I should eliminate one of these. But I can't figure out which one. So they're just kind of sitting here until I figure that out. Tiara, I mean, it's another cool tone neutral, but a very pretty shimmer. Somber, like a deep taupe that I think would look really pretty. I'm not as confident about that one either. Puppy and Pismo are on the neutral to warm side of neutrals. Demure, I think I might be able to take off, because I think there is a similar kind of warm gold champagne in the Paris palette, but again, there are several overlapping. That's why I was so attracted to specifically the Paris palette, because I was like, hold on, I feel like half these shades are on my singles wish list. And The Greatest Gift also reminded me of a shade in the Saint Tropez palette. I think that's what it was. There was a shade that was like a pink with a kind of greenish, unique shift to it. The shade Queen of Hearts. I know there was reds in the Paris palette, but they gave me more cool tone vibes. And from the swatches, Queen of Hearts is a warmer red, so I think I could still buy both, because Queen of Hearts is just really pretty. Now let's get on to the Clarity Cosmetics shades, and again, there are some overlap, but Aurora doesn't have any overlap. I've been really wanting a pale blue. I feel like it's still not quite what I'm looking for. Does anyone remember the Franken pale blue I was using in the last few months of 2020? I just want that. And there's also another pale blue I was using earlier on in the year. I was frankening these pale blues because I just want that pale shimmery blue in a good formula, and I don't know why it's so hard for me to find it. The shade Wedding Bells is another neutral, and you might be thinking, really? Do you need that shade? I don't know. I think I need to look more at what I have and what's in those palettes and analyze it. The shade Vintage Storm, it looks like liquid metal in the swatches. It looks so freaking stunning, but again, I feel like I probably have shades that are like close enough. Let's get to the colors. Code Red. I know one of the reds I want from here I probably don't need, because there's a warm red in the Saint Tropez and a cool red in the Paris, and so I'm like, where does Code Red lie? One that I think I'd want anyway is Bloodlust. This deep deep red that doesn't lose its vibrancy despite being dark, because I feel like a lot of dark reds just look brown or too black, but this one is a strong deep red. A similar kind of reddish vibe, but this is definitely purple, is Gilbert Grape. And again, is there a shade similar in one of those BH Cosmetics palettes? I'm not sure. I don't think they're as deep, so this looks really pretty. The shade Polar Bear, I don't think there is a shade in one of those that's similar, but I could be wrong. But the shade Blue Denim, I definitely don't think I'd need, because they both have a navy. One's more of a teal navy and the other one's more of a navy. So again, I feel like I could probably just buy like a very small handful of Clarity Cosmetics if I end up getting the BH Cosmetics palette. But as you can see, there's a reason why I'm attracted to this BH Cosmetics palette, because they remind me so much of the singles that I've been eyeing. So my goal I'm setting right now, which could change later, is to use up 32 eyeshadows so I can ask for the two 16 pan BH Cosmetics palettes for not this upcoming Christmas, but the next Christmas. Though I might ask for magnetic palettes, because I eventually do want to depot all my palettes. I've been talking about this for a long time, but I might get them now, because I know for sure I want to depot them eventually. But I was gonna do a palette a month series next year, but I might move it to the year after so I can super focus on finishing up shadows, so I could do the 1 in 1 out rule, because I don't think I can finish that many up if I'm doing a palette a month. I know some people can do the 365 days of eyeshadows plus trying to hit 10 uses and hit pan on things and finish others, but I feel like each year I have to have a main goal, which is like to finish all of my singles in a bunch of shades, or to try to hit pan on things. There's a different goal that I'd have for each year. This year, and I'm thinking probably next year, will just be, my goal is to finish as much as I can, especially all of the old ones. This is just mostly eyeshadows, but yeah, that is my wish list. Let me know if you have one or both of those BH Cosmetics palettes, what do you think of them, and if any of these colors look like dupes for the shades that I've been talking about in singles. If you have both or something, I don't know. Or let me know if the swatches that I showed of those palettes are accurate in your opinion, because I don't know, sometimes different lighting makes things look different ways, so that would also be helpful. And let me know what is on your wish list, and if you're also doing some sort of like 1 in 1 out rule or some type of low buy thing. Anyways, I've been rambling for way too long. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that you have an amazing day. Bye!